We're through playing with you, Manny. You owe everybody here dough. Big dough. And we're gonna collect.
With every beloved Hollywood actor, there's one that the public hates. Is it because of their villainous roles or because of their off-screen persona? Find out about the 20 most hated actors in Hollywood history.
Little kitty from Paducah, nobody else. You got a cigarette, Dockery?
What are you doing here, kitty?
I run the candy concession.
Number 20. Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda is not your average Hollywood starlet. She has a legacy and a career that spans over 6 decades. However, she also remains a name that has stirred up more controversy in Hollywood than a paparazzi swarm at a celebrity wedding. Her journey is a mixed bag of adoration and absolute disdain. She was born as royalty, as Henry Fonda's daughter, another infamous actor in 1937. However, she didn't ride high on Daddy's fame. Even though she made waves on her own, those waves weren't towards something good. One of the fateful mistakes that this young actor made was that she dove headfirst into activism during the Vietnam War era. A fiery Jane Fonda rallied against the war machine and advocated for soldiers' rights. It was still fine up until now. Yet a trip to Hanoi in 1972 was taking it too far. During her trip, she was photographed chilling at an NVA anti-aircraft battery, which earned her the infamous nickname Hanoi Jane. After that, the rumor mill started churning. It was stated that she might have revealed secret messages from POWs to their captors, but all of this was just baloney. Despite offering up an apology, Jane Fonda's name still carries the weight of absolute hatred from a lot of people. Even 4 decades later since that controversial incident, she is not remembered in good words by Vietnam veterans. But even after all the hate, her career didn't exactly hit the skids. She starred in Grace and Frankie and Our Souls at Night on Netflix. Today, she remains proof that even the most hated Hollywood actors can still rake in the accolades. But unfortunately, it wasn't the same for our next actor on the list.
What is your name, please?
My name is Errol Flynn.
Number 19. Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was born to defy conventions. His name is synonymous with everything scandalous about Hollywood. This original Hollywood bad boy had a life that was as adventurous off-screen as it was on. It made sense to a certain extent, as Flynn's upbringing among Tasmanian devils and wild animals set the stage for his rebellious spirit. From the very start, he was expelled from prestigious schools. Plus, he ran the Sydney's notorious Razor Gang. But his journey to stardom was also equally unconventional. Quite literally, it all started on the Spivak River in New Guinea. Here, he had a chance encounter with a film executive that led to his casting in the Wake of the Bounty. From there, Flynn's charisma and daring roles propelled him to Hollywood. He became the swashbuckling heartthrob of the silver screen. However, his charm came with a dark side. He had one vice, the greatest of all. He couldn't keep his vices under control. He was relentless in his pursuit of pleasure, which eventually led to legal troubles. In 1943, he faced charges of statutory rape. His trial was the first ever infamous scandal in Hollywood. It became a media sensation and ultimately turned him into a national joke. It even paradoxically cemented his status as a sex symbol. After that, he never quite reached the pinnacle of fame he once was at. Despite the scandal, Flynn remained unapologetically himself. He defiantly owned his reputation as a symbol of masculinity and sensuality. But by the end of his life, in the early 1950s, he was broke and disillusioned. He blamed everyone else other than himself for his downfall. Even after decades, he's only remembered for his vices, scandals, and his media trial. Regardless, he was a fine actor, maybe even the finest that Hollywood has ever seen. However, we can't say the same for the next actor on our list, but we'll give you a hint. He's trying to make a comeback. Number 18. Charlie Sheen. Now, Charlie Sheen is a name that evokes complex emotions in the world of Hollywood. It is a name that goes with admiration and disdain, both. Many of you must remember him from his brilliant acting in 2.5 Men. This talented man was born in New York City in 1965 and catapulted to fame at a very young age. His breakthrough role as Chris Taylor in the gritty war epic Platoon in 1986 put him on the map. He was quite famous, and his early career was a whirlwind of critical acclaim. But as always is the case, behind the glamour, Sheen battled with demons that overshadowed his talent. Then came the reports of drug abuse and erratic behavior that ruined his once shining career. However, the turning point came in 2011. Sheen had a public meltdown that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. He became the poster child for self-destruction with his catchphrase, "winning." After that, he only drew widespread criticism and condemnation. But there's a twist in this story as well. Now Sheen is sober and looking forward to life that'll give him the comeback he needs. He's hopeful to win over his lost fans despite the tumultuous past. Not only that, he is eager to reclaim his status as a respected professional in the industry. Will he be able to do it? Will he be able to sway public opinion and become the once-loved actor he was? We can only wait and see, but we know one thing, his story is far from over. But for our next actor, the story has taken a pretty impossible turn. Do you know about the Clooney-Russell trifle? Let's find out. Number 17. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is a man whose ego could actually rival Mount Everest in the land of Hollywood humility. This man thrived on stirring up controversies. Russell was at the center of every possible scandal. He didn't help himself from throwing shade at fellow A-list actors like George Clooney. He even turned the Gladiator set into his personal battleground in 2000. Do you remember what he called Clooney? A Frank Sinatra's wannabe. This was a scandal that turned his fan base against him. Even though Clooney clapped back with a retort, Russell had the thrill of creating trouble. In another incident, he dialed up producers in the middle of the night and threatened to barehandedly slaughter them. This was all over a perceived injustice to an assistant. Now, fighting for fair treatment is commendable, but let's agree, murder threats are not exactly the Hollywood way to negotiate. However, Russell still remains one of the most celebrated actors, not because of public opinion, but because of Hollywood. The Academy couldn't resist showering him with awards. He has won 3 consecutive Best Actor nominations and a win for Gladiator. But his off-screen antics do overshadow his on-screen brilliance. Off-camera, his love life has also come under public scrutiny. His whirlwind romance with Meg Ryan and his recent union with Danielle Spence has kept the tabloids busy. Plus, how can we forget his penchant for making headlines with his bar brawls and award show outbursts? He was crowned as the king of chilliness, dubbed as the coldest celebrity for his less-than-friendly demeanor. But hey, who needs to conform to Hollywood stereotypes when you're Russell Crowe, right? He still remains an entertaining figure, whether it's on-screen or off-screen, and that's only because of his brilliant acting.
What a low, vulgar girl.
I don't care.
Number 16. Mia Farrow. If there was a Hollywood figure whose life story read more like a soap opera script than a celebrity biography, it would be Mia Farrow. However, her story is much more horrifying. Mia Farrow was born in 1945 in Los Angeles, California. She gained fame for her role as Allison McKenzie in the television soap opera Peyton Place, which aired in 1964. It was all good and well until her relationship with Woody Allen. Their love story, or should we say drama, hit the headlines hard when Mia's daughter, Dylan, accused Allen of a dark and disturbing act. Dylan's open letter brought renewed attention to allegations that had been lingering for years. She reported that Woody had molested her. But that's not even where it gets messy. Mia's other kids weren't exactly on the same page about everything that went down. Woody spoke out against Mia's character, which tarnished her reputation further. Now, Dylan and her brother Ronan stood firmly by her side, but Moses Farrow had other plans. He accused Mia of being the real villain in this family saga, and oh boy, did it get even worse. See, the whole thing started when Allen decided to get closer to Sun Yi Previn. Who was she? Mia's adopted granddaughter. Moses didn't hold back. He claimed that Mia wasn't exactly the picture-perfect mom she portrayed herself to be. He alleged emotional and physical abuse, which all painted a far darker picture than what meets the eye. However, the battle lines are still drawn, but Mia has lost the public vote. So has Woody Allen. Each member of the Farrow-Allen clan has their own version of the truth, which has left us wondering who to side with. In the midst of it all, Allen's attorneys didn't miss a beat. They blamed all the blame squarely on Mia's doorstep. According to them, she's the one responsible for Dylan's distress. Who is truly responsible? We shall never know. But one thing is for certain, Mia and Woody's career has taken a nosedive, and their public opinion has taken a turn for the worse, from which there's no turning back. Now this next actress is the one who you can't categorize. From rom-com to sex movies, she has done it all. But why wasn't she able to sway the public perception in her favor?
You afraid?
Of you?
Yeah.
Number 15. Deborah Care. Can you think of an actor who has played every possible kind of role in Hollywood? Meet Deborah Care. She was a British actress whose career rode a roller coaster of saintly roles and saucy transformations. But all of this diversity only earned her a place among the most beloved and the most hated Hollywood actors in history. What happened? so Care started her journey as the quintessential English Rose. She graced the silver screen as a prim schoolteacher and noble princess. Yet beneath that demure exterior laid a desire for roles that would break her free from the shackles of convention. And she achieved this dream soon enough when she was found frolicking in the waves with the dashing Burt Lancaster. But did her morals change along with her on-screen persona? This question sparked a public debate that raged on for years. Even among all the controversies, Care's acting talent shone through. She was honored with multiple Academy Awards from 1951 to the 1960s. The turning point of Care's reputation, however, came when she had a quarrel with her husband. A lover's quarrel with Pal and an ill-fated affair shook the foundation of her personal life. From that point onwards, her acting journey was a mess of broken contracts and missed roles. She did manage to sever ties with MGM. After that, she paved her way for more daring roles, but she had already gained a negative perception that was hard to escape. Then a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease forced Care to bid goodbye to her life in the US and return to the UK. There still remains a fascinating part of her story. Did you know that within the months of her passing, her husband and biographer also passed away? They were all the same age, 86. Do you remember the Countess Teresa di Vincenzio on Her Majesty's Secret Service? What did you think of her? We wouldn't be surprised if you loved her, but the truth is that she remains one of the most disliked actors in Hollywood history. Curious to know why? Keep watching. Number 14. Diana Rigg. A Hollywood heavyweight whose character was more controversial than illustrious, Diana Rigg is one of the most polarizing figures in Hollywood. Starting her journey as Countess Teresa di Vincenzio on Her Majesty's Secret Service, Rigg took off to stardom. But even behind the glitz and glamour of 007's world, there was turmoil and tension. In the case of Rigg, it was particularly in her interactions with co-star George Lazenby. If you have seen them together on screen, their romance was the stuff of cinematic legend. However, rumors went around about their off-screen clashes. The whispers suggested that Rigg used too much on garlic before love scenes in a deliberate attempt to throw off her co-star. But even Lazenby brushed off the rumors. Rigg's opinion within her fanbase had already taken a hit. Lazenby cleared out that it was nothing more than a lighthearted lunchtime joke. Ah, the drama. Regardless, Rigg's star continued to rise. In her most recent role, she flipped the script with her Emmy-nominated turn as the Queen of Thorns in Game of Thrones. It was supposed to be a comeback of sort. Yet, once your reputation gets dented, it's hard for the public to fall in love with you once again. For our next actress, it was a marriage that tilted the scale away from her. Can you guess who?
Was it you who kissed me?
You're talking. You're alive.
Number 13. Ava Gardner. Yep, it's Ava Gardner. This actor's life has it all. Romance, drama, and a full dose of scandal. The tale of Ava Gardner reads like a blockbuster movie. She was dubbed as Hollywood's bad girl, and her life, it was as shaky as the character she played on the silver screen. At the age of 19, Gardner found herself thrust into the spotlight due to something you'd never imagine, a marriage. And not only any marriage, but to someone well-known. Care to guess who? Mickey Rooney. It's like she didn't even stand a chance to become a beloved of the fans. However, this marriage was also a calculated move. It was orchestrated by MGM to boost her image and career, but it was unconventional for the time. With her first marriage falling apart, she found herself in the arms of a jazz sensation, Artie Shaw. With already a polarized public image, Ava was losing her fans. Her second marriage brought unconventional living arrangements and attempts at refinement through therapy and literature, but even that couldn't tame Gardner's free spirit. So who came next? Frank Sinatra. This legendary crooner swept Gardner off her feet and into her third and most rocky marriage. Their union marked the collision of two Hollywood titans and put Gardner into the world of jet-set lifestyle. But fame, good or bad, comes at a price. By 1988, Gardner found herself broke with severe health issues. It was then that she decided to share her story with the world. Peter Evans was the man tasked with penning Gardner's memoirs. But even the release of those memoirs became a legal battle with Sinatra himself. Through it all, Ava Gardner's off-screen image remained highly controversial. There was no coming back from 3 shaky marriages. The next actor's story is a tragic tale. A prime actress who became the first victim of Hollywood's dark side. It was none other than... Number 12. Judy Garland. Remember Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz? You wouldn't believe the roller coaster Dorothy's life was in real life. Played by the infamous Judy Garland, this actor was a spitting image of everything that's wrong with Hollywood. Garland's journey in Hollywood began at a tender age. She was catapulted into the spotlight as a child actor with unparalleled talent. Her role as Dorothy Gale in the 1939 classic is what propelled her to fame. But behind all this, the world of Hollywood was harsh on Garland. Due to her bad public perception, she often found herself to be the lowest paid actor on set. MGM, where Garland was signed at just 13, put her in a life of prescription drugs and drinking. Despite her gifted acting, she often found herself at odds with the studio's vision of a Hollywood star. Did you know that MGM director Charles Walters infamously labeled her the ugly duckling of movie stars? Yep, the reasons cited included her unconventional looks that were different from all the blonde bombshell beauties of that era. Even though she was MGM's highest-grossing star, Garland's journey was marred by personal challenges. But the turning point came later on. In 1949, Garland was dismissed from the starring role in Annie Get Your Gun. This led to her eventual departure from MGM without a movie contract. After that, Garland was never able to achieve a similar level of fame. Her image became synonymous with drug abuse and wastage of talent. At the age of 47, Judy Garland passed away in 1969 due to an accidental overdose. Love her or hate her, Judy Garland's legacy continues to inspire audiences. She was, after all, a victim of Hollywood's dark underbelly. Number 11. Tippy Hedren. How can one forget the most influential directors of all time? Alfred Hitchcock, the mastermind behind cinematic classics like The Birds and Marnie. But this is not a story of him, but one of his victims, Tippy Hedren. A blonde, charming actress, Tippy Hedren had her career marred by her relationship with Hitchcock. Hedren's journey in Hollywood took a sharp turn when she crossed paths with Alfred Hitchcock. Despite her undeniable talent, she faced the wrath of film fans due to her outspokenness about Hitchcock's alleged advances. The reality of her situation only came to light recently. It was when Dakota Johnson, Hedren's granddaughter, revealed some secrets on the Awards Chatter podcast. This reignited interest in Hedren's harrowing experiences. She's now 91, but she has bravely shared her story in her memoir, Tippy. Revealing the dark details, Hedren had recounted instances of assault and manipulation at the hands of Hitchcock. These all occurred during the filming of The Birds and Marnie. But the horrors didn't end there. She also exposed the inhumane conditions she endured on Hitchcock's sets. Since Hitchcock was such an influential figure in Hollywood, Hedren's voice was drowned out. Her stories were used against her, and she became one of the most disliked actresses in Hollywood. Now, with all the facts that have come to light, Hedren's career cannot be revived, but she can be remembered as one of the most courageous actors of all time. Can we say the same for our next actor? You tell us! But before you keep watching, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more interesting tidbits from the golden age of Hollywood.
Looks white, don't it?
With all rude.
Number 10. Spike Lee. A writer, a director, and an actor, Spike Lee is a creative genius. Yet his public persona hasn't always won him fans in the industry. Even though his work in movies like Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X have explored difficult themes, his reputation off-screen is not that good. In fact, his reputation for less than stellar interactions with fans and peers alike is well documented. One of the most famous incidents of his subpar behavior happened during a university lecture. His dismissive attitude left attendees feeling disappointed and angry. Such moments give us a glimpse into his less than charming personality. The 2019 Academy Awards provided yet another glaring example of his contentious demeanor. When his film Black Klansman failed to gather the coveted Best Picture award, he stormed out of the ceremony. Did you know that he did that despite winning Best Director? Yep, his ego got the better of him. But that's not even the worst part. His ego-inflated moments have ruined his public perception, earning him a place among the most hated actors in Hollywood. Not much of a pretty face. The next actor on our list doesn't have much of a pretty reputation either. Did you know he was dubbed as one of the worst hosts ever of SNL? Number 9. Steven Seagal. What good is your acting if your on-screen antics leave a sour taste in the mouths of many? Meet Steven Seagal, a Hollywood action hero whose behind-the-scenes paints a much darker picture. Born in 1952, Seagal's reputation has been bad ever since he rose to stardom. His reputation as a nightmare to work with precedes him. Just ask anyone who's had the misfortune of collaborating with him. The SNL crew famously dubbed him as one of the worst hosts ever. Imagine this is not a title easily earned in the cutthroat world of showbiz. We could have said that his reputation would recover if that was it, but nope, it's not just his co-workers who have felt the brunt of Seagal's tough guy persona. Spare a thought for his stuntmen, who often find themselves on the receiving end of painful blows, particularly in those regions. Who knew such a fun-looking guy could be hiding these horrible habits? And then there are the allegations of misconduct that have plagued Seagal's career. He has had sexual harassment claims filed against him by Jenny McCarthy, Portia de Rossi, and Juliana Margulies. All of these incidents have caused Seagal's reputation to take a serious hit. Now, it's at a point of no return. One particularly unsettling account comes from an ex-model turned executive assistant. She reported that she had to endure creepy duties like giving massages and bearing unwanted touches. It's quite unbelievable. However, with each new scandal, one thing becomes increasingly clear. Seagal's tarnished reputation will never ever fully recover. You can choose to love him or hate him, the majority has given its vote. But what about this next cinematic genius? You remember the director of Citizen Kane?
Of Spain off Jersey coast. Is that really your idea of how to run a newspaper?
I don't know how to run a newspaper, Mr. Thatcher. I just try everything I can.
Number 8. Orson Wells. It's time to take a closer look at the life of Orson Wells, a cinematic genius whose rocky relationship with Hollywood earned him a position in the Hall of Fame of the most hated actors. You see, Wells was hailed as a visionary director, but his penchant for pushing boundaries often rubbed studios the wrong way. This man excelled as an actor. He was loved for his versatility and depth. However, his directional pursuits were met with mixed reactions. Have you seen Citizen Kane? Well, if you liked it, you must be one of Wells's loyal fans. After the release of this movie, Wells's public opinion took a dive, leaving him with polarizing views. It didn't help that after this movie, all of his directorial endeavors failed. Wells faced setbacks with projects like It's All True and The Magnificent Ambersons. The latter fell victim to studio interference. This incident left Wells disillusioned with the Hollywood system. Following these disappointments, he struggled to regain his footing within the studio system, so he resorted to independent projects. Despite occasional triumphs like Touch of Evil, studios made sure to never let him see the light of success. This earned him a reputation as a cautionary tale for both filmmakers and studios alike. His legacy, however, is tinged with regret. Many believe he squandered his immense talent through self-indulgence. More often, many also believe that he threw his career just because of his clashes with collaborators. In the end, Wells remained a complex figure. He passed away from a heart attack in 1985 at the age of 70. Are you ready for the next actor on this list? Her story is disturbing to say the least, but after hearing it out, you might be inclined to think that the world didn't do right by her.
You drop this?
Thanks.
Number 7. Lana Turner. Known as one of the ultimate femme fatales of the 1940s and 50s, Lana Turner was a Hollywood starlet. However, her real-life drama rivaled the intense plots of the film noir she starred in. It all happened when in the late 1950s, Turner found herself entangled with Johnny Stompanato. Who was this Johnny guy? If you know anything about mobs, then you know he was a notorious mobster. His presence in Lana's glamorous life led to her disgrace. When Turner learned of Stompanato's criminal connections, she tried to end the relationship. But it was a decision that led to years of abuse at the hands of the gangster. This wasn't even the turning point. In fact, the situation reached a boiling point during a violent argument. Turner's daughter, Cheryl, stepped in to defend her mother. It was a moment of desperation, a moment that changed it all. Cheryl stabbed and killed Stompanato, an act that sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. Even though the jury deemed the killing justified, Turner's reputation never recovered. The scandal was massive. Lana Turner passed away at the age of 74 in 1995. Number 6. Raquel Welch. Bursting into the scene in 1966, Raquel's smoldering looks and charisma captivated many audiences. This Hollywood bombshell's career spanned across 6 decades. But Raquel is most well known for her iconic appearance in 1 Million Years BC in 1966. In fact, she even won a Golden Globe Award for her role in The Three Musketeers in 1973. But Welch's career still remained a whirlwind of fame, fortune, and a fair share of personal challenges. Beneath the surface, Raquel struggled to break through her mere sex appeal. But time after time, she found herself pigeonholed as a symbol of sensuality. When Raquel entered the Hollywood scene, she was already a divorced woman with 2 children. A shaky divorce from her second husband, Patrick Curtis, left her facing financial woes. Did you know she only received a nominal settlement of $1? A painful division of her assets, including her beloved Beverly Hills home, left her with nothing. To add to that, Welch also struggled with her Latina identity and couldn't find peace within herself. Her divorces led her to earn a bad name and spiral into leading a life filled with sorrows and regrets. At the age of 30, she ended up marrying Andre Weinfeld. This was a decision that defied her earlier declaration of never walking down the aisle again. Raquel Welch passed away at the age of 83 in February 2023.
Truth!
Number 5. Elizabeth Taylor. Another Hollywood icon who's no stranger to stirring up controversy is Elizabeth Taylor. Born on February 27, 1932, Elizabeth Taylor became the center of one of the juiciest scandals anyone had ever seen. Becoming known for her iconic role in Cleopatra in 1963, Elizabeth's career and off-screen perception took a nosedive soon. It was when she got involved with the infamous singer Eddie Fisher. Her affair did eventually lead to marriage, but not before it ruined Elizabeth's image. Taylor found herself smack dab in the middle of a media storm. The tabloids painted her as the ultimate home-wrecking villain. It didn't help that she had 8 marriages under her belt. In the late 1950s, Taylor sent shockwaves through Hollywood when she began dating Eddie Fisher. Now, Eddie Fisher was the husband of her close friend Debbie Reynolds. Fisher, a fellow actor, was already married to Reynolds and had 2 children. Do you know Carrie Fisher of Star Wars as his daughter? Yep, but that didn't stop Taylor and Fisher from igniting a fiery romance. Both Taylor and Fisher faced initial backlash from the press, but it was Fisher's career and Taylor's image that took the biggest hit in the long run. Reynolds, on the other hand, continued her ascent to A-list stardom. However, the drama didn't end there. Taylor's love life took another spicy turn when she started a passionate affair with Richard Burton. Burton was her co-star in the film Cleopatra. The chemistry between them was undeniable, leading to not 1, but 2 marriages and divorces. Can you imagine? That's exactly what happened. It's no wonder that the public didn't think much of Taylor personally. Her off-screen dilly-dallying overshadowed her brilliant acting. From love triangles to A-list stardom, Taylor's life was a real-life soap opera that kept audiences hooked till the very end. Now, there are 2 actors who are banned from the Oscars. The next actor on the list is one of them. Can you take a guess? Number 4. Roman Palansky. If you ever search for a list of actors banned from the Oscars, Roman Palansky's name would come up at the top. But it was too late. He had already won the Best Director award for The Pianist in 1977. However, this didn't mean that he could gain back his lost reputation. Do you know about the Palansky scandal? No man has ever heard of him in words that are graceful. In 1977, Palansky was arrested for a crime so heinous that it feels disgusting to mention it. He pleaded guilty to raping a 13-year-old and then fled to Paris to avoid the punishment. Currently, he lives in France and Poland to avoid the U.S. request to extradite him. What's even worse is his mindset. In 1979, Palansky gave an interview which revealed his true nature. He stated that if he had slayed someone else instead of raping them, he wouldn't have gotten so much attention. But it's the fact that he raped a young girl. That's what everyone likes to do. Ever since, he apologized to his victim, but he is still at large, and to date, he continues to make famous movies. If there's one surprising entry in the list, it's the next one. Anyone from the 1800s to the current date can recognize this actor at a glance. But there are secrets about him that only few of us know. Number 3. Charlie Chaplin. Ah, the silent film legend. You must not have expected that he would make this list. Well, as much love as Charlie Chaplin got, his life was as dramatic as any Hollywood movie. It wasn't his roles on screen per se that earned him a bad reputation, but it was his off-screen escapades that led people to dislike him as much as they do now. Known for his iconic bowler hat and cane, Chaplin's romances stirred up quite the scandal. Funny enough, it was long before Leonardo DiCaprio made headlines with his own dating preferences. You must know where we are going with this. Yep, it was Chaplin's penchant for younger women that earned him quite the reputation. Not content with just one, he took 4 trips down the aisle, and each time his bride was considerably younger than him. Lolita complex, anyone? His first marriage at 29 was to 16-year-old Mildred Harris. This was followed by another whirlwind romance with 16-year-old Lita Gray. These marriages barely outlasted their honeymoon phase. After a brief hiatus from marital bliss, Chaplin tried his luck again with actress Paulette Goddard. This union also ended in divorce. But wait, the 4th time's the charm, right? At 53, Chaplin tied the knot with 18-year-old Oana Neal. Sure, she was legally an adult, but the age gap was enough to raise eyebrows. After all, he could have been her grandfather. If you think that's the end of the scandal, think again. Chaplin found himself banned from the U.S. in 1952 due to his alleged communist leanings. His infamous clip as a factory worker is still referred to in schools when students are taught about communism. This dark cloud hung over his illustrious career for years. It wasn't until 1972 that he returned to American soil to accept an honorary Oscar. With 4 marriages under his belt, Charlie passed away at the age of 85 in 1977. Number 2. Clark Gable. Dubbed the King of Hollywood, William Clark Gable wasn't just any actor. He was the real deal. This man starred in over 60 movies across a wide range of genres. He had an impressive 37-year career that spanned over a solid 3 decades. But get this man was no saint. Yes, his acting was exemplary, but his personality, well, that always remained the talk of the town. His larger-than-life persona lit up the silver screen like no other, but his scandals also lit up the world of Hollywood. The thing with Gable was that he was an arrogant man. His swagger was legendary, but it was like he had turned arrogance into his signature style. His rocky romances with co-stars buzzed around closed doors, which earned him his bad reputation. Do you remember his affair with actress Loretta Young? Their encounter on the set of Call of the Wild left Young pregnant at just 23. But that wasn't even the worst part. Despite his marital status, Gable denied paternity. He showed no interest in meeting his daughter. Young kept their secret for her entire life. The truth came to light only in a posthumously published memoir. And if that wasn't scandalous enough, Young later admitted that their relationship wasn't consensual. This revelation added another layer of controversy to Clark's legacy. What do you think? Did you like Clark Gable's persona off-screen? There's no doubt that he was a flawed man. He passed away at the age of 69 in 1960. If we showed you a picture of this next actor, you wouldn't believe that he is one of the most disliked actors in Hollywood. See for yourself.
I want to say it's mighty nice to...
Number 1. Ernest Borgnine. Imagine Ernest Borgnine as a man whose tough exterior overshadowed his off-screen demeanor. He had a gap-toothed Cheshire cat grin, but that was all about it. Born in 1917, Ernest wasn't all sunshine and smiles when the camera stopped rolling. Behind that rugged face lay a reputation for being as prickly as a cactus. He is well known for his roles in McHale's Navy and The Dirty Dozen, but his attitude didn't allow him to become the most beloved actor. He had an attitude so no-nonsense that you could practically cut it with a knife. Borgnine wasn't one to mince words or sugarcoat things. His bad image came from the words of his co-stars. They often stated that they found themselves walking on eggshells around him. It was similar to navigating a minefield of prickly exchanges. However, the most fascinating thing about this actor was that his gruff demeanor wasn't just an act, it was who he was. Borgnine realized that he didn't need to have a big persona and flashy smile to be famous. He carved out his own niche in Hollywood, the one that was dominated by an unapologetic authenticity. Ernest Borgnine remained a gruff old man till the day he passed in 2012. That's all for now. If you liked it, your subscription will help out a lot. We'll see you in the next video.